This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks.
With Valentine's Day just around the corner, Simple Civics EdTalks is getting personal with some of our favorite Greenville County Schools administrators who just happen to be married to each other. I'm Katherine Schumacher with Public Education Partners, and on this special episode of Simple Civics EdTalks, I'm speaking with two couples who aren't just in love with each other, but with public education and the power it has in our community. I'm joined by Dylan Hudson, principal of Greenville High School, and Dr. Jordan Hudson, principal of East North Street Academy, along with Dr. Wallace Cobbs, principal of Welcome Elementary School, and Kristan Cobbs, assistant principal at Fisher Middle School. I'm super excited to be with friends and colleagues around the table for what we're calling like our special Valentine's episode of Simple Civics EdTalks. We thought it would be really fun to do a conversation with some married couples who are in leadership positions at Greenville County Schools. So we're going to start. This is unusual for us because we have four folks in addition to me around the table. So I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves and where they're an administrator, just so you can kind of put a name to a voice. So Kristan, we're going to start with you.
I am Kristan Cobbs. I'm the 8th grade AP at Fisher Middle.
My name is Wallace Cobbs. I'm the principal at Welcome and the husband to Kristan.
I'm Dylan Hudson. I'm the principal of Greenville High School.
I am Jordan Hudson, Dylan's wife. I'm the principal at East North Street Academy.
You all, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so grateful. I really appreciate it. It is Valentine's week when this posts. I love relationship origin stories. So I'm going to ask you guys to share yours, mainly because I would really love to know, like, is this a Netflix rom-com situation where you met in a school building and the kids were all like, ooh, what's going on? Like all of that. So Dylan and Jordan, I'm going to start with you guys. So what's the story?
I guess we would be considered college sweethearts. We met at the University of South Carolina, and my best friend, Daniel, he actually grew up in the same church, grew up together. You know, he was my best friend, and we were sitting together, and we just happened to be sitting behind her, and she turned around and started talking to Daniel. Then she started talking to me, and we all, in college, you create friend groups. We all sort of started hanging out, and then she and I started hanging out a little more and realized that, she didn't kick me to the curb or
And how long ago was this?
This was
2000, so 17 years ago?
17 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you both studying to be educators? Like, were you both?
No.
So, okay.
I was a freshman. Dylan was a sophomore. When we met, I always tell people he knew and was certain, was like, I'm going to be an educator. I'm going to be a principal. My dad's a principal. And I was like, oh,
okay.
that's great. Okay.
Yep.
My major was actually broadcast journalism. And long story short, changed my major. And here we are.
How long have you been married?
10 years. Almost.
And
10
10
this
years
year
in
will
May.
be 10 years.
10 years in May.
Okay, 10
Yep.
years, 2 kiddos.
Two kids. Yep.
Yes.
All right. And Kristan and Wallace, I know you guys pretty well, so I know the story, but I love y'all's story too, which is not really a meeting in the school story,
No.
but it's a
Wanna
meeting
take it?
adjacent to the school story.
Yeah, so a little bit of background. Way before I even met Kristan, just to give a shout out, her dad was actually my high school assistant principal.
Yep, he's a
Oh, wow.
legend.
Oh, that's
Don
cool.
Alewine,
Yeah, Donna,
legend.
you're on, so shout out
48
Don.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also I taught with her sister-in-law at the same school
Didn't know that
in
either.
Anderson 4. So
Oh.
Kristan was actually, and I met her brother through her sister-in-law. So she was probably the last person in her family that I met.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we both went to Clemson together, didn't know each other, and then I met Kristan by being someplace I wasn't supposed to be.
So elaborate on that.
So we had an event. I'm part of Bold, so we had a speaker come in.
That's Bold Leadership Network.
Yes.
Yes,
Just a
Bold
group
Leadership
of
Network.
Black and male educators specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kristan attended, and then from there, we had one of mutual friend. I guess she's a mutual friend now. She invited us to his birthday party, and we weren't invited prior to her invite. So we showed up, and we had a great time.
So you crashed the birthday party.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh,
Mm,
gotcha.
yeah.
And then Kristan and I, we started talking, and then we've been together ever since.
Yeah, you've been married
Mhm.
a year and
2
2 and a
years,
half.
Oh
two
my
and a half
gosh,
years.
really?
She's
Time
3 in
flies.
July.
Time flies. Okay, so that is really interesting. Were any of you ever working in the same building at the same time?
No.
No, which
Mm.
is probably a good thing.
But I will say a neat thing about us is until I went to Fisher, his students all fed to me. So being at Welcome and being at Tanglewood, we served the same population for 6 years, which was a really neat experience.
You, Jordan, were an AP.
I was.
Right? In Greenville County Schools. And Dylan, you were in Seneca, yeah? Before
yes,
you
I was
came
at
here?
Seneca High School.
So you've been at Greenville for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years?
2 years.
You're
2 years.
Okay. Kind of leaning into y'all knowing each other as educators. So I think, Jordan, I'll start with you. So what is one thing that Dylan does that makes him a great educator and a great partner? Like, what is something about that relationship? And then I'll open it up, like, if anyone else wants to jump in.
Dylan, he is always 100% committed to whatever, in the classroom and whatever school that he's serving at the time. But then that carries over to our family and our relationship also. So Dylan started his education career as a middle school English teacher. And
God, middle school teachers are people.
Yes, they are. It's a special type of person.
Special person.
But he taught middle school English. And when his kids would write, Dylan wrote. And he, at night he would be focused on writing and thinking about how he's going to change what he's written or how he's going to take his personal writing into his classroom because he just had that level of commitment. He, is a lover of YA novels and, that connects to what he was doing with his kids. And it's the same thing for our relationship, for our family. But then also for us as a couple first and really being focused on being all in. We're not Clemson people, but fully committed to being the best version of himself, but also for us and for our family and our kids.
So Dylan, same question.
Not to piggyback, but similar sentiment with the commitment. Jordan, she's probably the hardest working person I know. I mean, she wakes up working, goes to sleep working, but still finds a way to be a extremely supportive wife, phenomenal mother, but also be a great leader at East North Street Academy. One thing I enjoy is, elementary school. They'll have evening events, magnet nights, STEAM nights. I'm sure y'all have similar things, but it's so cool to see her in action. Because when she's walking around talking to the families and the students, I'm just watching. I'm like in awe because I get to see her, do her thing, if that makes sense. So it's cool. It's extremely special. Our daughter attends East North Street now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
she's a student there and
Tiger School.
Yeah, at the Tiger School. Yes. So that's been I've gotten to see it now as a parent, because I get the phone blast, the newsletters, just like a parent, and I see,
Yeah.
I see her.
See
Listen
both
to the
sides
phone
of it.
blast.
I do. Yeah.
He pulls up the rural report. He reads it every week.
I see her working on a newsletter, so it's like, okay, she was working on a newsletter, not on Amazon, because I got the newsletter. So,
I love it.
but and I guess that's why we're so compatible.
Yeah.
Not to steal Dabo's lingo, but
No, but I
definitely
get
all
it.
in. Definitely
Well,
all in.
I mean,
yeah.
being a school leader, I know how many events y'all have to do. I mean, full disclosure, my boys have gone through Greenville High, and so Dylan, I know the sports events, and I mean,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So, Wallace, I want to ask you, what do you admire about how Kristan shows up for her students?
And that's the main thing. I mean, you never underestimate the power of showing up. And Kristan just really goes hard for her students. I mean, I think, when we wind down and we talk about things, much of what she talks about is student-centered, not the adults. It is student-centered. And she'll talk about her day, and and I just listen to the depth of which she will go into the conversation she's had with a student. And I'm like, man, if I was that administrator, I would have cut that conversation off a long time ago to make my decision. But she walks away, works away, and she will try to way to whether she needs to restore something, whether she needs to connect the student, reach out to the family, have a more collaborative approach. She really has a heart for students, and something that I wish for all educators to have that same heart. So that
Love
is
first.
one thing.
Love
Yeah.
first. Kristan,
Definitely
same question
relationships.
about Wallace.
I think one thing, like I shared earlier, we got to serve the same community for 6 years. So it was really neat to see our 6th grade students come in. And at first, when I was at Tanglewood, we were just dating. And so kids would come in my office and they'd be like, "Wait, is that Mr. Cobbs? How do you know him?" And I was like, well.
Oh my gosh, in middle school.
Yeah, especially 6th graders. When I was the 6th grade administrator,
Sure.
they were like, but that was my principal. And I said, well, what do you think about him? And I think hearing
what do you think about
yes,
it?
because
Tell
to
me.
Tell me
me,
how
Like,
you should
no.
feel.
Yeah,
How should I
yeah,
feel about
yeah,
this one?
but
right.
like kids are more honest. And so for him, they were like, Mr. Cobbs is hilarious. We love his bow tie. We love that he comes in our room. He comes to see us every morning. We like seeing him on the news show. He does, and so like to hear that, and then we do a good job of going to each other's events. And so
Yeah.
like to see him even like, we still joke about it, like at Hispanic Heritage Night, he's up there and he's like, oh, buenas noches. And like, they're all just like laughing and like, cause I mean, it's a very high Hispanic population.
Sure.
And so like one cool thing they do for Hispanic Heritage Night is it's all in Spanish. And so you have to wear
Right.
headphones, and then like I would have to listen with the headphones in English.
It's like the inverse
Yeah.
of what the experience is. For,
so
yeah, that's
like
neat.
it's a really cool thing, and like for him just to try, and like he knows all of his kids. I will say probably the most special thing is he just got his doctorate in December.
Woohoo, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And we did, we surprised him with a clap out. So his whole ILT, his instructional leadership team, did a clap out. All the kids were out there and they were so excited to see him in his regalia and like, we want to be a doctor. We want to do it. We want, and so like,
See it, dream it.
there's some schools where it's just like, you don't see the principal maybe,
Right.
or they don't really know who the principal is, but like he knows all of his kids and he's encouraging them. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think we're both very student centered.
I love that. Talk about celebrating wins, and then we'll get to sort of like the flip side of that, the hard days. But Dylan, talk about how do y'all celebrate the wins in the education space? I mean, obviously you're whole people with other lives too.
We are each other's sounding board, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm sure y'all are very similar. So we talk about everything. So when we talk about some of those challenges, a challenging situation, trying to really support a student or support a family or a teacher or whomever, we've heard the journey. So we know the journey and the process that is taken to get to a certain point. So once we reach a certain threshold and there's a breakthrough, we're able to celebrate. We're able to talk about it. So I almost feel as happy as if it was my staff or my student because, we're kind of doing it together and that's celebratory in itself. So because, leadership can be a lonely job.
Very.
It can be a very lonely job. So we do have the benefit of, she gets it.
Yeah.
She totally understands where I'm coming from. I feel validated. She'll tell me, babe, you're not crazy. You just need to maybe go get some fresh air, go back to your computer or go back to the
take a
class.
beat.
Yeah,
Yeah, take a
you'll,
minute.
And I
you'll be
think
fine.
that's like the biggest thing is really having a partner that truly knows the trenches that we can be in
You're right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like you said, it gets lonely and, you can't really, you can be cordial with staff, but it's not, you can't just like your friends can't.
You
be
can't
the
unload.
teachers and they
No.
can't, you can't share everything with them. And so to have like a safe space to come and be like, I just need to talk this out. I don't know what to do. What would you do? And like one thing Wallace will be like, do you want me to put on my principal hat or my husband hat? Like,
Yeah, that's
like
a
which
really
one?
we say the
Yes,
same
yes.
thing. Yeah,
like which one do
Yeah.
you want me to
Yeah.
be? Which I think is also important to kind of be like, because most of the time I'd be like, well, both. Like what?
Yeah.
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 like
we'll
what would
say,
you
like,
do?
You want me to listen?
Or you want advice?
Yeah.
You
want me
so
to
give
solve
advice.
it.
Use it or
Mhm.
lose it,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're going celebrating the wins is a lot of the work that we do as administrators. It does happen. It's confidential. It's
Right.
background information, so you don't get a lot of public victories. So being able to
Yeah.
take that home and have just that private victory
Yeah.
with your loved one, somebody that understands and goes through it, I think is very special. So,
Because sometimes the win is just showing up the next day too,
It
because
is.
of
Yeah.
how lonely it can be
Yeah.
and how hard that it's just, okay, you had this really terrible day yesterday, but like today you're in a totally different headspace, you're excited. This thing that would be seemingly so small to somebody else, we know how big of a deal it is.
The idea of leadership is you're sort of setting up other people to shine and succeed. And for you all, like ultimately it's the students through the teacher. And it's a really complicated, it's always lonely at the top. It sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. I think that's so interesting. And I think sort of some of the strategies y'all have taught, I mean, any good partnership you want me to do it from a professional standpoint or a personal standpoint. I think it's really, really interesting. So advice to young educators about balancing life and love and all these, like being an educator and it is the heart of it from, and again, as I always say, I'm not an educator, I'm educator adjacent, right? But I'm a consumer, and I feel like I've gotten to be friends with so many educators, and I just know it's a different kind of job. And especially now, it's such a complex ecosystem especially in public education. It's just,
For sure.
it's just tough right now.
Right.
I'd love to hear advice, advice to sort of younger educators in this space who are trying to kind of carve out a whole life path that includes everything, like includes great partnerships and love and all of that. So who wants to jump in first?
I can start. I think support system is probably the biggest thing. So I actually started my career at East North Street. I taught there for 8 years. And when I first started, I was the first car there, the last car to leave.
Yeah.
I only live 5 minutes away. So I was like, it's fine. And I was like, this isn't sustainable. Like, you're always going to have that to-do list. But it's kind of like, okay, I'm like, okay, what is my to-done list? Like, what do I need to have done before I leave today? And so I think, even as AP, there's still some nights that I'm like, I'm still here. And he's like, you got to come home. It'll be there. I think really kind of prioritizing and having a support system of, both my parents are retired educators. And so they're also a great sounding board for both of us because they get it too. And they're like, balance. You got to do both. And I'm sure with having a family and both of y'all being principals, that's hard.
Just going along with what Kristan said, she talked about the support system. And one thing, when we talk about work-life balance, I think a lot of times people think that has to be like 50-50 perfect balance.
Yeah.
But sometimes that looks more like, 70-30 or 80-20 or, but then you have to go back and make sure you balance it the other way, because there are some nights where we're sitting there and we're both answering emails, whether one of us has our computer up and you think we're just browsing, and then we hear that district email ding. I'm like,
You're like,
girl, get off that. It's 8:30, turn it off.
Right.
So, but some days, that's what the call is, and that's what we do. But just make sure you go the other way as well and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we say that like there's seasons to it. There's seasons where you can step away a little bit quicker, in the afternoon, or you really can go home and say, okay, I can afford to not do this for a couple of hours before we put the kids down and then, jump back into it. And then there's seasons where September, October, it is, extremely busy. You've
Flat
got
out.
football, you have open house nights, you have, we were nearing the end of the first quarter, all of those things. And especially with us being at both ends of the spectrum, elementary and high school, it can get really hectic and really busy. And so we say like there's seasons, but then also you have to, have those boundaries and choose your heart. It's going to be hard regardless.
Sure.
Well,
Adulting is hard.
Adulting is hard.
it is.
Life is
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
for everybody, right? Regardless of your field, but in particular for education. But I think for us, we also just hold each other accountable, like Wallace was saying, especially with us having young kids. We
Yes.
have a 4-year-old and then an almost 2-year-old. And
And you were pregnant. I remember
Yes.
when you got
So-
appointed. I remember because you
Yes.
were just coming to the district.
I
Like
was,
that
I
just
was,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah, so we
Yes.
both of my, and this was not intentional, but both of our children were born when we both started our first principalship.
Yes.
So
Oh, wow.
our daughter when he started at Seneca, and
Yes.
then our son when I started at INSA. So we had to learn that even more quickly because there's the incredible responsibility and pressure of the job and what we've signed up to do and what we're excited and passionate about doing, but also the family that we've worked really hard to build
Yeah.
and want to enjoy
Yep.
with each other
And
and our
the
kids.
kids are good accountability partners
They
for
are.
us as
I
well.
bet.
They don't care about that laptop or
They
those
do not.
emails.
They will come over and shut it.
They will. They seriously
I
will.
love
They-
that.
That's really good.
you're on your phone. They will come and take the phone. They're organic accountability partners.
I love
So
hearing
and
that.
just what everyone said was great. I would just say that balance, like they said, and also just finding some being graceful on yourself.
Yeah.
Being willing to you're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna get it all right. You're not gonna be perfect. And that's okay. Just balance and try to do your best. And
Kind of the same advice you'd give students.
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
No, that's great. All right, real quick, we're going to do a lightning round.
Oh, gosh.
What
Okay.
do you love most about being an educator?
The kids. That's why I went into it. So I think getting to see them just even like yesterday when they're all coming back. I mean, I work with 8th graders, and a lot of them are like coming back and like, oh, and then they're like, Miss Cobbs. That's exciting to have that relationship with them.
Yeah, I think it's just a strong sense of purpose working with the children, knowing that every moment matters and that this job is important. What we do, it just has repercussions, and we can really change the trajectory of people's lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say definitely the students for sure. Number one, 1A, and then 1B would be a school community. And
Yeah,
I
it's
love
like a
being
family.
I love being a part of a
For
school
sure.
community that's teachers, stakeholders, parents, everyone.
Yeah, I love our students and our school community. And Dylan talked earlier about our events that we have, and I think that's been one of my favorite things from the principal seat in particular is being able to we see our kids during the school day and how serious they can be when they're doing their work and interacting with their friends during the day. But then when they're running around, at an event and like showing their friend off to their parent,
Yeah.
and then those parents are being able to connect with each other. And then the event's over, and then they're playing on the playground until, the lights come on. Those are the moments you're like, okay, this is why we do this every
Right.
day, because we're planting seeds academically, but also for a community that's going to continue to be connected and grow together.
I love that. What a great note to end on. I love talking about how our schools are just like beating hearts in the center of our neighborhoods and our communities, and everything that we do to pour into those schools is just so important because it's the future. Those kiddos are. I mean, it really it sounds cheesy, but they really are like they are
They
the
are.
things we're
They
trying
are.
to build. So.
Right.
For
You
sure.
all, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
everything
you.
that
Thank
you do. Thank you for
you.
taking the
Thank
time
you.
at the end of a long day to be here with us and have this conversation. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Happy
Happy
Valentine's
Valentine's
Day to you
Day.
as well.
Simple Civics EdTalks is a joint project of Greater Good Greenville, Greenville First Steps, and public education partners Greenville County.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.